Mindset shift for growth. What is mindset? To start with, I hope you are there with your pen and your note for jotting. It is very important. What is mindset? Before we define mindset, let us separate the two words, which is the mind and the set. Your mind is your thinking and processing center. In other words, the mind of a man is his thinking and processing faculty. That is where his thoughts are formed, that is where his beliefs are stored, and that is where his decisions are made. That is where meanings are assigned to experiences. That is your mind. Your mind is the thinking faculty, it's the processing center of your thoughts. That is the mind. Now let's talk about set. Set means fixed. Remember that we are trying to define a mindset, but we have to split the word mind and set into two for better understanding. So if your mind is your thinking and your processing center, then set is fixed, something that is fixed. So the two words combined will be your thinking that is fixed, that is positioned, that is established, that is conditioned. So to set something or for something to be set, it is to be fixed in a particular position. So a mindset is a thinking pattern that is fixed in a particular position. Thus, your mindset is simply a fixed way of thinking put together. A fixed way of thinking in a very simple form. That's the result we get if we combine mind and set together. Because your mind is your thinking faculty and set is fixed, is positioned. Therefore, your mindset is a fixed way of thinking. More clearly now, mindset is how your mind has been positioned to think, respond, and interpret life. So your mind was designed to think, but your mindset determines how it thinks. I will reiterate that. I will take that again, like twice more. Your mind was designed to think, but your mindset determines how it thinks. Your mind was designed by God to think, but your mindset now determines how it thinks. Really. So this means that two people can have the same mind, but different mindsets. God gave everyone a mouth, a face, a mind. We all have minds, but we do not all have the same mindset. So when you see people in life, you will notice something interesting. You can imagine person A and person B. Person A is wealthy, successful, influential, sophisticated. Person B is struggling, is unknown, is limited in results. The difference is not that one has a mind and the other does not. Both sure have minds. What separates them is how their individual minds is set. Their results are simply reactions to their mindsets. So person A has one kind of result. Person B has another kind of result, and those results are produced by different ways of thinking. So in essence, what determines our result in life is not talent, it's not background, it's not opportunity, and all of these things that we count. It is mindset. Yeah, that is what determines our result at the end of the day. Let's quickly take a look at the law of physics, the physics analogy. Very strong. I want you to keep this. Very, very strong. Life works like physics. It responds to what you put into it. You don't argue with physics. You don't. Physics says that every action produces a reaction. For instance, if you softly kick a ball, it doesn't go far. But imagine you forcefully kick it with all of your might. It travels far into the air, high and farther. Life only responded to the energy that was supplied. So let's see another example, for instance, which is farming. If you plant maize, you don't harvest rice. If you plant nothing, you get nothing. So life responds to what is planted. Now let's bring this back to mindset. When we say life is like physics, we are saying life responds to what you consistently put into it. Not what you wish, not what you prayed for, not what you pray for alone, because prayer works. I believe in prayers. I'm a Christian. I believe in prayers, but not what you pray for alone. Imagine you're praying to write a book, but you never start to write the book. You can pray for 10 years and the book will still not be written because you never really start to write the book. You're only praying that, Lord, I want to write the book, but you never start to write the book. That's what we are talking about in this place. We're not talking about probably miracles, signs, and wonders. Of course, when it comes to success, when it comes to productivity, you know that it is God backed up with your efforts. So it is not what you wish, it is not what you pray for alone, but it is not just that, but what you think, what you believe and act on repeatedly. Your mindset is the force that you apply to life, like the ball that was kicked, whether softly or hardly. Your mindset is that force. Whatever it is in your mindset, it is what you will see in your life. Joyce Meyer would say, the man follows the mind. Your results are the reaction life gives back. Just like the physical world responds to force and motion, life responds to mindset and action. Funny how your mindset is what produces your action. Funny. And both can never be misaligned. They are so married to each other. It is think me equals to do me. Mindset equals to actions. Mindset, after your mindset, action follows. Think me, do me. So whatever you think is what you do. Whatever your mind is set on is what you act on. So you see that for growth to happen in your life, your mindset is very pivotal. Your mindset is very important. In fact, the most important, the bedrock, the foundation of all shifts, of all successes, of all growth. When we talk about mindset, we're not talking about intelligence. No, we're not talking about intelligence. We're talking about orientation. So then a mindset shift will be shifting or changing or reconstructing your mind, or the way your mind was initially set, the way you think, your thinking patterns, the way you process situations, changing it. So a mindset shift happens when you stop believing one thing and you begin to believe something different, something else. Because a mindset shift can be positive or negative. Anytime a person accepts a belief system that is contrary to what they previously believed, a shift has occurred. So in this class, we're not talking about just any shift. We're talking about growth shift. And growth is advancement. Growth is expansion. Growth is becoming more, moving forward intentionally. So when we say mindset shift for growth, we mean changing the way the mind is set in a positive direction, changing the way you think in a positive way that produces progress in your life, that produces development in your life, that produces results. And the key factor to any mindset shift, be it positive or negative, is exposure. Exposure, very important. Imagine you started working with a group of friends in your workplace. This often happens to men, and they occasionally go out for fun. So you decide, okay, let me join them today. You join them today, you join them tomorrow, and in a week after you have joined them, on the table where they serve the drinks and all, and they begin to discuss about their homes, their wives, and then they all make fun of the fact that they beat their wives so that she can fear them. But you are the only one at the table who did not do that. First, an exposure has occurred. Whether knowingly or unknowingly, whether consciously or subconsciously, an exposure has occurred. And our mind do not know when it is conscious or unconscious. It takes in everything. A negative exposure has occurred in that instant. Second, a subtle shift has happened to your mind. Like, so if I begin to beat my wife, she will fear me. That is a negative exposure. You may not change that very instance, but give yourself a few more months around those caliber or circle of friends hearing the same things. You won't understand how you will suddenly become a beast or a monster. It is to the effect of exposure. You were negatively exposed, and that brought about a misinformation that landed as an awareness, a negative awareness, and that now became your new belief system. So copy and paste this same process to begin to see an healthy change in your life. Here is it. You cannot shift into what you have never encountered. Growth happens when you are exposed to a higher, healthier, and more productive belief system. So exposure can come from what you listen to, what you read, who you spend time with, what you repeatedly allow into your mind. No mindset changes in isolation. I want you to know that. Pen that down. No mindset shift changes in isolation. No mindset changes in isolation. Mindset changes through exposure. So for your mind to be set positively for growth and for transformation, you must encounter new information. You must accept better beliefs. You must intentionally allow higher things to replace old patterns. I'll go again. For your mind to be set positively for growth and for transformation, you must, number one, encounter new information. Number two, accept better beliefs. Number three, you must intentionally allow higher things to replace old patterns. Better things to replace old patterns. Newer things to replace old patterns. You need exposure. Reading will help you to get exposed. Reading is a game changer. Reading is a game changer. Intentional reading will expose your mind to mindset shifts. I tell you, that's how growth begins. So one thing you're taking away from this module is that exposure is the game changer. Exposure is the game changer. Exposure. So in the next, or in the preceding modules, we start talking about how to get your mind exposed and many more mindset shift game changers. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next module.